Hello and welcome back to another Southern Airs video with myself, Matt Banjoman Walker.
And Tyler Jeffels from McDowell at one service, as always.
And today we are exploring a museum that we've had on our list for a little while. We were last here in 2019, the same time we went to Duxford.
And this used to be my local aviation museum for a number of years, because it was the nearest one to Slough and Burnham that was open on the regular.
The Royal Air Force Museum in Hendon. I absolutely love this museum and I really can't wait to show you guys what it's about.
One of two aviation museums linked to the RAF museum. This is the London site, the other one, Cosford, is in the Midlands. We will hopefully get around to covering that at some point in the future, but scheduling.
Yeah. So let's take you inside and see what it's all about. So this was actually used in an advert for the RAF a number of years ago. I can't remember exactly when. They say 2007 on here, so it must be that. Basically using all sorts of tools and stuff to make a Eurofighter, which I think is genius. Love this Spitfire and that plinth, but it's actually a model one, it's not a real one. Although there are a few real ones in this museum, we'll get to them a little bit later on. The Foal and that just up there is basically what the Red Arrows used to use before they used the T1 Hawks. Lovely little aircraft, and it used to be one based at Bournemouth, but then it got moved into someone's front garden. I've no idea where it went to. So when we came in 2019, there's a little funny photo that Tyler took of myself and Zuza in this plane, and I'll see if I can dig it out somewhere, wherever it is, and I'll put it on screen now for you. It's quite a fun time, that was. The Westland Sea King. Last time we saw one of these was up in Yeovil a couple of years ago when we'd done that little video for her. Can't quite get in this one, but you'll still have a look in there at least. Now Hangar 1 is quite small compared to some of the other ones, hence why we've not covered much in this one. But when we get to some of the other ones, they're quite big and there are a lot of exhibits to cover, and depending on how much time we have, we'll try and get through as many of them as possible. So we couldn't quite go into Hangar 2, but we actually came into Hangar 6. Makes sense when you think about it because of where it is, but when you come into Hangar 6, you not only get greeted with the Tornado, Jaguar, Buccaneer and a Harrier, but also a Eurofighter, which is just beautiful. I can't even get her all in a shot. A beautiful Blackburn Buccaneer. Absolutely stunning aircraft. And one of the most annoying things for me right now though is this fence is stopping me from getting in that cockpit. Oh, maybe next time. But sometimes they do open this to the public and let people sit in there. I just realised it's a twin seat. Did you just say the first iPhone came out 20 years ago?
Yeah, the first iPhone came out in 2004. It's 2023 when we're filming this.
Bloody hell.
Years. I mean, it's 22 years since 9/11.
So this definitely wasn't here when we were last here. The Focke-Wulf 190.
Yeah, because this one's been sat under the Vulcan and the B-17 for a long time.
In Hangar 5, that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only two Focke-Wulf 190s in existence in the UK.
Is this one of them?
Yeah, this one and the other one used to be at the Imperial War Museum in London, hanging from the ceiling. Mm-hmm. But it got taken down when they obviously redid the IWM. I don't know where it is right now. It could be in a reserve collection at Duxford. I'm not sure.
Yeah, fair. So this is a cockpit section of a Hercules.
They've got a complete aircraft at Cosford.
I think they do, yeah, somewhere outside of Cosford, yeah. They've actually just retired these aircraft, and apparently you can't get into it because it's just sort of flat. But the Chinook, on the other hand, just next to it, Chinook helicopter cockpit section. You can. Nice. And on to Hangar 3. Looks rather different, this whole area looks rather different than when we were last in there. Got to figure out how to get in this room somehow. There's a door. I'm blind. See, there's a door. And there's a Tyler.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking a lot of planes.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely a lot more empty than when we were last.
I know they
here.
Are keen to. I know the new curator, the RAF, moved some stuff around quite a bit. Like I know a few planes they've decided that. I mean, there was a B-25 Mitchell bomber that used to be here. That's now gone to Lincolnshire. I think some planes they're moving to Cosford, and some planes at Cosford are going to move down to London.
Right.
Because, like I said, the thing
Not
is,
quite what I expected when I wanted to walk in this hangar.
problem is, it's always a bit of a catch-22. You want your crowd pleasers, but you also need to keep it fresh to bring you blood in, because, you know, some people can't get to Cosford, some people up in the Midlands can't get to London, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's have a little wander around and see what's left, I guess.
It's interesting seeing some of these planes all taken apart, like how they all chained here and everything.
Oh yeah, it's very odd though.
Not the museum, it went to Canada for 4 years, came back, spent a couple of months at Coningsby with the BBMF, and then it came back.
You got Harvard there as well. Something brilliant about this museum, and unfortunately we didn't get the chance to book it because of money and time, is you can actually get in a genuine Mark 16 Spitfire. Now, once again, myself and Tyler, we managed to do that back in 2019, and there's some photos of us probably on our Facebook and Twitter as well. I'll see if I can dig one out and stick it on this bit here of us in this Spitfire, and it is absolutely brilliant. It's worth the money. Now back then it was £10, but now it is 25. Again, it's worth the money doing it, just because you, as you can see, you're getting in a genuine Spitfire. It's amazing. Also, the fella that you've just seen doing that Spitfire tour is the guy who also done it for me and Tyler back in 2019. So it's really nice to see him back doing what he quite clearly loves to do. We've just found something to do. Typhoon simulator. Ooh. Now, we were talking on our coach last night, and you hate roller coasters. Let's see how you handle this. Up and away. Whoa. Don't you dare.
This is a Phantom fighter, very popular amongst naval air forces, but this happens to be an RAF edition, and the RAF did operate a fleet of these for a time. I believe they were in service during the late 60s. I think they were retired before the Falklands, but on this example you can get on this lovely little platform and look right into the flight deck of this beast. That's it, Max. Get a good view.
I'm a good cameraman when I need to be.
Right, so we've got some interesting planes from the Bristol Aeroplane Company. This is a Bristol Beaufort. This is a torpedo bomber, mainly used during World War II by the RAF and the Navy to deal with U-boats and, you know, sea missions like the Sunderland would be. And if you want to turn around to the other side, this here is a Bristol Beaufighter, which is a successor aeroplane to the Bristol Blenheim, which is a plane that we've shown at Duxford. Insert picture here because the RAF Museum's Blenheim has now gone up to Cosford, so it ain't here. But this plane was basically a metal design fighter bomber designed mainly to be used at sea and in the Pacific. This one apparently was used in the Pacific as well, and the Japanese used to refer to this as the Whispering Death.
Awesome Mark 1 Hurricane there, and a Mark 1A Spitfire right there. Two fantastic aircraft of World War II, and some of the most iconic ever known.
Both these iconic British fighter planes were actually veterans of the Battle of Britain, both flying during the height of the battle in the summer of 1940. So we're standing under the RAF Museum's AVRO Lancaster, which has graced the RAF Hendon site for decades, and this is, I believe, the most flown Lancaster in World War II as far as the RAF is concerned. I think the only Lancaster that flew more missions than this aeroplane is the one at the Australian War Memorial Heritage Museum in Canberra, Australia, and that's G for George, and he flew quite a few missions. In fact, I think he flew slightly more than this one. So like I said, it's great that the RAF preserved this amazing aeroplane, especially given that in World War II it was very, very common to see bombers not return after one or two missions, let alone dozens. So this is a very lucky aeroplane, and it had a very, very skilled crew for most of its service life.
I asked Tyler just a minute ago, there was a section, I think, about bombing raids and blitz in London, and it was actually in this back corner where this Lysander and the P-52 is here, but they've gotten rid of it. There's been so much change since we were last here in 2019. I'm going to have to come back after it's finished, but at the moment I really enjoyed what they had. I'm kind of disappointed they took that away, because it was very immersive. I may be in a shadow, but that shadow is sort of one of the best aircraft ever built. The AVRO Vulcan bomber. And like I said on my Duxford video and the Bournemouth Aviation video, I freaking love this plane. I really do. If it wasn't for this plane, I guarantee you the Southern Airs wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have met. Me and this freak over here. You know, I wouldn't have got the aviation bug if it wasn't for absolute stonking beauty of a plane.
They had to take this entire plane apart to get it in here, apparently. Yeah, so I think this is the only Vulcan that's ever been disassembled and reassembled for a museum.
Jesus.
I'm pretty, because obviously when the plane was retired in the early 80s, obviously Hendon wasn't an airfield like it was in the 40s, so they had to obviously transport it by road. But obviously, unlike the Cosford one, where they were probably able to fly that straight in and just move it in when they got a chance to.
Yeah.
This plane's been in the exact same position ever since.
I love this plane. Such a beauty. And if ever you do want any kind of tours inside of this Vulcan, Hendon do offer tours for, I think, about, it's either 55 or 75 pounds on certain days throughout the year. They actually they get the cockpit fully opened up. There we go, from the ladder. And yeah, get you in there. In fact, I think there are some parts of this Vulcan that are actually in XH558 when they were trying to restore her to fly. Someone else is flying, apparently.
Here she is, the Wooden Wonder. I know I introduced one of these at Duxford a few months ago, but this is the de Havilland Mosquito. The fuselage being predominantly made out of plywood, hence why it's nicknamed the Wooden Wonder, as featured in iconic World War II era films 633 Squadron and Mosquito Squadron. This was an amazing fighter bomber, and this was a plane that could really take the fight to Germany right to the heart of the Rhineland, and it even got a reputation for being used in some of the most extreme bombing raids of World War II. In fact, Guy Gibson, the not squadron leader, the wing commander of the Dambusters raid, his last flight was in a de Havilland Mosquito.
During the end of the war, Japanese armies would use this aircraft here. They would quite literally strap the pilot in and not expect him to come home.
these missions were literally one-way missions for these. They were not expecting to come back. But it was all to do with honour back then, which was big for the Japanese, and also kamikaze pilots were revered. They were well respected.
Still scary as hell to think about it. Really not one that I enjoy covering, but it's history. It's what happened, you know? And there we have it. RAF Museum Hendon. What we could show of it, and what we wanted to show of it.
There's a lot of changes going on here, and I'm very excited to see how this is going to look in the coming year or two.
It would be great to come back in about a year or so and find out how will things look then, because at the moment it does look kind of bare, and it's very odd to see because of the way that we saw it back in 2019. It was very
and how
full
I've seen
and very
it in
lively.
the years before that.
Yeah, so I definitely want to come back in about a year or two or so and figure out how things go from there. I've just seen there's some stairs on that boat. Let's have a little look over there in a bit. Anyway, won't film that because I'm pretty tired anyway after the last day or two worth of filming. My lord, it's been a long weekend.
So worth it though.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you guys very much for watching this Southerners video. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And safe travels, my friends. We shall see you
See you soon.
Bye.